Hi guys, this is Michael McCarroll. I work with Ralph, and he asked me to put together some ideas and a proposal for getting your campaign to $4 a lead at the highest and then scaling that out. So I wrote some things out, but I'm making this video because I can talk much faster than I can type. We want to start by optimizing for the lowest cost per lead first. What we found, I mean, it's just a best way to go at things. Test really small, find the lowest cost per lead, and then we can scale later once we see um, what the pockets in the market are and where we're going to get the best cost. So I've looked over, I haven't exhaustively researched all the campaigns you did, but you went and created a lookalike audience from your customer list. That was very smart. And we would use that, and then I saw where you did exclude your current customers and then you didn't exclude your current customers. So we would probably want to exclude current customers to start. Now, I know you will probably get repeat customers, so we may want to put a time limit on that, and we can talk about that. But for right now, it's a waste of advertising to send that to people that have bought a car recently for sure. So the way we're going to find the lowest cost per lead is to test different optimization strategies and let the data provide the answers. So one of the first things, I mean, it was very smart for you to just overlay, but what I didn't see, again, I didn't look at this thing extensively, but we would test different interests. And what we found in, I don't know, $2 or $3 million of ad spend is that small tests on varied interests almost always produce um, some surprises. So there's going to be, and I don't know what it'd be for your market. I mean, when we did the real estate, it was, real estate investors, it was creative real estate, it was, that kind of stuff. I don't know what it's going to be for you guys, but we would do some research to find that out. And having those interests just gives us a foothold to start launching this whole thing. At the same time, we want to test images, copy, landing pages, and I'm sure as you know, images get stale really fast on Facebook and we need to rotate them. And I also want to test for age appropriateness, and I'll talk about that in a second here. The other thing we want to test is bidding strategies. So what I noticed is you guys were on automated bidding, which is a decent way to go, but we found some good results by bidding at multiples of the lead cost goal. So if it's $4, bid at 4, bid at 8, bid at 12, and then follow that by ratcheting it down. And what I'm talking about takes like constant monitoring. There's a lot of having someone in there who's watching everything and seeing how it's going, so that we can keep the cost down and really see what segments are going to work best for you. Then we want to test age and gender, and hopefully you can see this here, but I've highlighted some things where you can see that older females and older males have a relatively low lead cost compared to everything else you've got going here. And so we want to key in on that. I mean, it may be, this 45 to 54 female, if that's going to give us the best lead cost, then boom, that's where we want to go. So we would, and I don't have the exact answers on that. Again, it's more data, more testing, but you can see just on a simple breakdown here, it varies a lot. I mean, if there's 50% variation in lead cost factors, more than 50%, depending on age and gender. So that's another way we want to test this thing and take it apart. Then we also want to test placement. In other words, is it going to be in news feed? Is it going to be on mobile? Is it going to be on desktop? Is it going to be a right-hand column? And we have, again, found some surprising results depending on the market. This 54 to 64 and 65 plus, maybe these guys are all on mobile. Maybe they're all hipster older guys. I don't know. But a lot of this older demographic, they spend a lot of time on desktop, and that's where they can see. And so we want to test, all these things, one versus the other to see where we're getting the best results. Then, once we have all the data and the results of what segments are converting well, then we scale by, there's 4 different ways we scale here. One is by audience. We're going to add similar interest to what converted well in the tests. And Facebook helps us there because once we gather this data, then there's ways we can ask Facebook and interest insights what interests are best tied to your market. The other thing we can do is scale by budget, which is probably the most obvious one, but it doesn't always work that way. It's, but sometimes just adding more daily spend can produce favorable results. But you got to be careful how you do that. You don't want to throw a ton of money at it suddenly. That will tend to have some bad results. I talked about placement before. Again, depending on the age, depending on several other things, if something is working well on mobile, especially for this age bracket, yeah, we definitely want to test desktop and right-hand column. And especially right-hand column is very cheap. And if we find a segment that is like inexpensive here, we could, and you notice I'm using all these qualifiers. I don't know till we test it. I just, every market's different. We certainly have a lot of experience, but it could be, for instance, that this market, if it does well on mobile, we could literally blow it up very inexpensively on desktop and go after, 100 times that volume of 2,000 impressions. The other thing is campaign objectives, and I wrote Facebook is full of surprises, and it is. And you guys wisely use website conversions in most of your campaigns that I looked at. And that makes sense, but we've seen where clicks to website, post-page engagement, even video views sometimes produce the best results. So again, a lot of testing on this stuff, and I wrote down here, the key is to test and closely monitor the results while constantly making adjustments, and that's just the bottom line. It's a lot of, we have our best guesses, but we're going to let all these results and data tell us. I mean, I didn't know what this would come out to be. It's like, wow, how interesting. Really? Older males. Okay, I get, maybe, I mean, when you see that, it's like, dude, like, I'm not going to live much longer. Hell, I'm going to get a car and live, Maybe that's their attitude. I don't know. But, and that would be a little different message than it would be to someone younger here. So that's why I say about testing copy. It may be specific to specific ages that we do different copy on that too. We'll have to find out. So that's my gig. That's what we have in mind, and look forward to your comments.